Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here at Travel South in Atlanta, Georgia, and I'm delighted to have Nate Huff in front of me, who's the Senior Vice President for Tourism Exchange. Good afternoon, young man.
Good afternoon, Grant.
Nate, give me a quick overview of what Tourism Exchange is. You know, for simpletons like me, what is it?
Sure. I try to make a 15-story elevator pitch, a 3-story elevator pitch here.
Please do.
The Tourism Exchange is a connectivity platform primarily focused on helping small to mid-size, out-of-the-way experiences and accommodations get connected to global OTAs and tour operators to really expand the amount of bookable product that destinations can feature and sell as part of their mission to promote the U.S. and their specific destination.
Okay. I can understand why people would want to do that. Do small property owners, attraction owners want it? I mean, how desperately do they want it, given that there's lots of solutions around at the moment, and many of them may just have a social media page, like a Facebook page. I mean, it's a little bit like being Yellow Pages of 40 years ago. You know, that's the way they've done business, and that's pretty much the way they're going to stick to it. What evidence do you have that they really want it?
Sure. So not every business does. There are plenty of businesses that are content with running things the way they're running them, content with where their business is right now. But in every community we've gone to, there are businesses that are interested in expanding their business, particularly in filling in shoulder seasons, midweeks. And the international visitors are such a high value customer that if we can get the educational piece done up front, it makes sense for them to invest a little extra time to get a lot more business down the road.
Now, you mentioned the educational piece. That's a fairly heavy burden when you think that probably in a state like Georgia, I don't know, you could probably say 30–40% of bed spaces are in accommodation of 10 bedrooms or less.
I would agree. I like to say it's the paradox I live every day, that the businesses that understand tourism exchange the most quickly are the ones who need it the least, and the ones who need it the most are the ones that take the longest to really understand how it works and how it benefits. So that's where the partnership with the destinations comes in. We really work with them to understand who are your partners who have an appetite for growth, who have an interest in being part of what the destination is marketing. We really try to target, the dozen small businesses in this community, the half dozen small businesses in this community that are going to enhance a visitor experience, are going to really showcase what makes the destination unique, and are going to add to the operators' diversity of itineraries, experiences that they can provide.
Sure. You mentioned OTAs and tour operators. Many would have standards. Many will have grading systems. Many of the properties that you're referring to, I suspect, wouldn't fall into that. How is that handled?
Sure. So we make no bones about not being a verification or a validation platform. We are a connectivity platform. So all of the businesses that connect to us are legal businesses with tax IDs that the destinations have said can accept legally and service visitors. But every global market is different and every product is different. So the Germans are not buying helicopter tours through Tourism Exchange, as an example. But if it's a walking tour, if it's a culinary experience, if it's something like that, that will work for that market. Other markets like India don't have the same standards. They can buy anything from anyone, basically. So we also see this as complementary to some of the existing players in the market, like the receptives, who do such extensive work on product validation. So if we can introduce a new product that doesn't exist, that can then go through the standard validation process and be sold, we're adding to the ecosystem.
Does that validation include health and safety?
It absolutely can. Again, we don't do that validation. We are doing it's a legal business able to operate in the place that it is in.
And finally, Nate, what would you term as a success? In 3 or 4 years' time, and you look back on this time, what will you determine as being a success for Tourism Exchange?
Sure. So right now, a success is a business like the Muscle Shoals Recording Studio getting connected to the exchange, deciding to sell their products through Google in Japan, and having Japanese consumers a month later purchase museum and studio tours. That's a success right now. I would like to see that multiplied by the thousands in several years, with thousands of businesses across the US getting connected to both OTAs and tour operators around the world, and ultimately the US being able to showcase thousands of new experiences and accommodations.
You mentioned Muscle Shoals Sound Studio. Not everybody has the Rolling Stones in their portfolio.
True.
How do you give people advice on how to sell their wares, so to speak?
Yeah, we sit down with every single supplier and we walk through with them what markets make the most sense to them. A lot of that's informed by the destination strategy as well, and which channels make the most sense. Because pursuant to what you said earlier, in some cases a product's not necessarily right for a certain market, and we understand these are small businesses and they have limited time on their hands. So our goal is to maximize the amount of impact they're going to get for the time investment they put in.
Good. Well, thank you very much. It's a big project you've undertaken, but the very best of luck, mate.
Thank you very much.
Cheers.